So
Yeah, let's do
everyone,
it.
hi. Thanks again for joining us at TGIF Tidbits. Today we have a super special guest, Miss Hana, one of my favorite people. She owns and she's a CEO of Euro Staging. So Hannah and I were just talking about how important staging is, not just for the seller, but also for the buyers, especially in today's market, right, Hannah, where the market is just fluctuating, I
I
would
agree.
say.
That was a nice word. I would almost say it's scary, but definitely home staging plays very important role in selling people's homes because it is visual marketing and people are visual, buyers are visual. So we cater to their needs to present the property in the best possible way so they can fall in love, right?
Exactly. So, and that's funny you say that because my website is Real Estate Matchmakers. I really feel that I am matching a person with a home and they fall in love with that home. And stagers definitely help with that love and affection. 97% of buyers come from online. You need that curb appeal. You need those photos to be nice, and you need the interior of the home to look spectacular so that people actually want to, is it swipe left or right? I don't know. I haven't been on a dating app in a long time, but it's basically the same thing with real estate. So, explain the process to everyone. How does staging work with a seller? So if a seller wants their home to look impeccable, how does that work with you as a stager?
Okay, so I will take it from further out. Let's say we receive a call, somebody calls us that they found us online and they need a help with staging. So first we need to figure out what is actually their situation because staging can be either vacant staging or occupied staging. Occupied means that the sellers are still living in a house. And in that case, we need to figure out what is needed or either what needs to be removed out, if there are any repairs necessary, and what other inventory we need to bring in. And when the property is completely vacant, that is definitely easier because it's a blank canvas. Then we agree on which rooms are important to stage and we stage the house. So I would say we like to receive the call at least several weeks before the realtor or the homeowner is planning to put the property on the market. And that gives us enough time to time it, to schedule everything. And also, in case the property is occupied, it gives enough time to the homeowners to prepare the house for us to stage it.
Okay. Now, just to backtrack on what you said between the vacant and occupied homes, what if it's an occupied home and they have little kids and a dog? Can you stage something like that?
Of course, it is. You see, I've been doing this for last 13 years, and the properties come in different sizes, different shapes. And I'm not really picky because I am in service and I understand that the homeowners and the realtors, they need our help. So I'm not going to be saying, yeah, I'm going to help you, but I'm not going to help you. So in case the home is in very occupied situation by family, kids, animals, and hey, I live in a home like that, so I totally have understanding and compassion. We need to figure out a plan. We need to figure out if, let's say, some relatives can take the dogs at least for the first week when the house will hit the market, or we need to figure out how the family can live with the kids or small children in the house while they are on the market. So we try to give them some shortcuts. Example can be, minimize the toys, keep them only in designated area. Ask friends if you can use their garages for extra overflow of stuff so you can still get it if you need it. We give them tips for open house. Hey, put your daily stuff into a car and go for a car trip. We just try to help them and try to figure out what would be the best solution for that specific family. And you've been in a business, you understand, like every house is different and every family is different. So it can be a challenge, but it's doable. I've done it.
So are they allowed to actually sit on that couch that's staged in the living room, or do they stay out of that living room because it's staged furniture?
So that is a good question. I would say that in our warehouse, we have an inventory which is suitable for occupied houses. We would probably not bring white couches. We would definitely not bring our new inventory, which is meant for new constructions. As I said, we would have to tweak it so it works for both ways. Because in case damage would happen, I don't want to give them additional invoice to cover any damages.
Okay.
And it is hard. Like, let's say if there are small children in a house, we would not bring glass knickknacks or accessories. We would avoid white furniture. We would maybe go more in a gray colors. So it just depends. Or we would utilize inventory or furniture they have in a house and see how we can make it happen. Because at the end, we are on a team. We are team players, and we want to see the salt on top of the house, right? Just like you.
Sure, absolutely. Now, for you, do you see majority sellers reaching out to you, or is it the realtor that's reaching out to you for staging?
So in our area, I've been fortunate over the last 10 plus years. I've connected with a lot of realtors, and they become our, I would say, VIP clients. So about 85% is a repeat clientele. When the realtors, they had a certain experience with us and they are happy. So we just continue helping their clients and helping them sell homes. So it's, in our case, more realtors.
Realtors. And then, so in regards to that, is it the realtor that takes care of the staging fee, or does that fee get carried over to the seller?
That's a phenomenal question. That again depends. So it depends how the deal is done with the realtor, what the deal is between the realtor and the homeowner. And I know that the commissions can be, I don't know, 5%, 6%, 7%, 3%. I don't know. That's not my part of the business.
Sure.
So sometimes what I understand, if the realtor gets the full commission, they might intensify the seller with the paying for a home staging, or the other way around. Or sometimes I have some clients who offer homeowners, let's say, to pay 50% of the staging, or sometimes they cover the staging and get reimbursed during the settlement. And sometimes homeowners just cover the whole cost. So again, there are as many homes, there are as many options and ways there are to stage the home.
Okay, and what's your favorite type of home to stage? A vacant, occupied?
I like vacant. So, I would call it a normal size of a home, and that is anything within, let's say, no more than 3,000 square feet. This morning, I had a preview of a 14,000 square foot home. And I have to tell you, the preview took 2 hours and I left extremely overwhelmed because that is a tough home, I think, even to sell and to furnish and to decorate and to stage.
Yeah, so it's a lot of hours.
Oh, yeah. So anything under 3,000 square feet, I really love staging in DC because that's just, I would say DC is way more adventurous when it comes to a staging and can take more of a different, more interesting artistic approach. So those are my favorite homes, and definitely vacant because it is easy for us, definitely easier. And it's also cleaner, and the inventory is not in danger of Crayola or markers or, Fido sleeping on it.
I agree. And I also agree with you too in regards to DC. I feel like the interior of homes in DC are just at another level versus, somewhere in Northern Virginia and Maryland. No offense to Maryland or Virginia homeowners, but DC is just, the interior is just, I feel like, light years ahead in regards to the updates, whether it's the kitchen or the bathroom, the type of countertops, the backsplash. It's just, forward-thinking, advanced interior design. So
I agree with you, and they're bold. They are not afraid
yes,
to mix and match. Where I live in Virginia, we are way more conservative.
yeah,
However, Virginia has some gorgeous mid-century modern homes, so I think
lovely.
that's my weak spot as well. Yeah.
Mine too. I love a mid-century modern. You know, when you're in real estate, you see a lot of, what are they called? They're called not the craftsman, colonial.
Mhm.
Every other house is colonial. Beautiful homes, but it's like, okay, give me something else,
Can get a
please.
little boring.
Yeah, yeah. So okay. Now, for staging, can you give a little bit insight on how pricing works? Is it something per hour? Is it something per square footage? Is it something like, if you're staging a condo, it's X price. If you're staging a townhome, it's Y price. If you're staging a single family home, it's, Z price? Or is it everything just per hour? Like, how does that work?
Okay, and that's another great question. So let's say staging consultation, when we
Mhm.
walk the property and advise homeowners on what to minimize, we advise them on paint colors, light fixtures, basic updates, which are important before coming on the market. So they start at 250 and go up depending on the size of the property, because that's important. Bigger the property, the more time we spend there, and the more elaborate it is. When it comes to occupied staging, that is very tricky, because we need to see the property and we need to write up a list of inventory needed, and then we need to know if it's a one-person job or if it's a full team job, if we need a box truck to deliver what is needed, or if it can fit in a minivan. So it can go from $500 up to $5,000. So it really depends on the size of the project, how long it will take, how many people we need, how much inventory is needed. And then when it comes to vacant, I would say that again depends on the size of the property. Also, access is important. Once we were staging small unit, 1-bedroom condo in DC, but we couldn't park in front of the property. We were parking underneath the hill, and then we had 20 steps to walk to the property, and then the condo was on the third floor without the elevator. So you
Oh
can
my
imagine
gosh.
we were, yeah, but it's part of the job. So we were bringing furniture, artwork, bedding, accessories, and it took us 2 days to prepare it and stage it, and
Wow.
we were definitely tired. So then again, that reflects in a cost. So it is, I cannot give you an average price or exact price, but it is definitely in thousands of dollars. So if some, HGTV shows will tell you that the staging was $600, they're lying. Because that would be maybe cost of my mover for 3 hours, and
Yeah.
that's it. But it would not reflect the inventory rental, the staging team, staging design, a preview, rental of the inventory. There are a lot of steps before we can say the home is staged and is ready for the photographer. So it is, cost of staging depends on the access to the property, size of the property, and then also what level of inventory is needed. We will need a different inventory for occupied home versus new construction, right?
Mhm.
So those are all aspects playing a role in pricing, and that I wish the answer was easy. But you know what? Think about it. If you go for a steak, you can go to your local bar, get a steak, but you can go to a Michelin star restaurant and get a steak. You're still having a steak, but the price is different, right?
Yeah, it's the experience too, and you get what you
Yeah,
pay for, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I totally understand and agree. But staging is, I think, um, it's obviously not a best kept secret because many people do it, but I think a lot of sellers don't really think about that at the top of their mind. Realtors do, or realtors should, but it's pretty important. Now, on the flip side, what's something that you've staged or an experience of staging where, you know, and I don't want to say you hated it, but like you're like, I don't want to ever do that again?
So the pet peeve among stagers is when we are told by, let's say, builder, property flipper, or the realtor that the property is ready, and they are lying. So and I get it, because once again, we are really team oriented and we want to help, and we understand that scheduling timing is very important and very tight. It's like on a hair. And after the staging comes a photographer. After the photographer, you want to get the listing live. But sometimes there are days when we are just schlepping over electricians and cleaners, and the property is just not ready. And it is a hard work for us and our team. Our inventory can get dirty or dusty, and dust is really hard to get out of sofa and upholstery. And so that is something what we don't like when it happens, but I have to tell you, it happens. But again, it's real estate. It's a crazy business.
Does it happen more or less? Do you see that a lot or not as much?
Let's say 10% properties are absolutely not ready for staging. So sometimes, like we had a situation when we had to make a U-turn, and we said we cannot stage you because you're not ready. You know, they were still painting. The floor was not hard enough for us to walk on. We would cause a damage.
Wow.
And the driveway was in the middle of being poured, and we just had no access. Like, I can't fly with the sofa. So if the property is not ready, that can cause a lot of friction and delays. And it's just, we do our best, and we hope that, you know, the other part does the best as well. But at the end, once again, I keep reminding everyone on our team, hey, it's a real estate. Let's figure out how we can make it happen instead of getting angry or having a conflict, you know.
Sure.
So that's, yeah.
Okay, now on a same topic, but not really. Something I've been seeing a lot lately is virtual staging. And what I've noticed is the virtual staging. In the past, you could tell it was virtually staged, but now it's just gotten so good, and you can't even tell the difference. So where do you think our market is at with virtual staging versus the traditional staging? And do you do both?
So this is funny. Today, for the first time, I actually advised my client, a realtor, to stage outdoor area. And I was laughing. I was like telling Amy, this is the first time I'm saying it, but the outdoors should be staged virtually. And that was, you know what, I recommended that because that was the best for the client. Number one, the outdoor area was the size of a tennis court, and it just needed a different level of inventory. And then also at the price range, she is listing her house. It might take a while to sell, and over the time, the outdoor furniture will get dirty, will get dusty, will get birds debris on, and then it would need someone to constantly go there and clean it. So I thought, hey, let's just have it nicely virtually staged, and then basically vacant, and give the visual example of utilizing the space to home buyers. So that was new to me. Otherwise, I do agree with you that the current virtual staging looks really great. It just looks real. However, I'm still for traditional staging when it comes to selling homes, because it's deceiving. Imagine that you see beautiful pictures, beautiful living room, gorgeous dining room, and then you walk into the property and it's empty. It's vacant. And sometimes the problem might be that they will virtually stage it with 6 or 8 dining chairs, but at the end you can only fit 4. So you need to trust it. And when you have it staged with the real furniture, you really understand the size and space of the room. But when it's done virtually, it might be deceiving at some point. Yeah.
That's a really good point. And that's true. It's hard. You see it online, which again, 97% of buyers come from that, click online, that photo online, and then they walk in, it's empty. But sometimes you wonder, do they even remember what the interior looked like when they walk in? So that's interesting.
I think they do remember because, again, majority of the people who are clicking on the pictures are us women, and we tend to go for something what is visually pleasing. And I think, it's easy to save some pictures on your phone or printed it out. And then when you go around the houses, you go like, okay, where's the furniture? Right. It had like, hey, honey, it had really nice wall art. I just want to show you. Or it has a sofa I fell in love with and I want to buy this sofa. So,
and ta-da, it's not there.
I think it's not there. Yeah, I think I can definitely forgive it when it comes to new construction, when it comes to selling condos in a high rise. Those places have been virtually staged for, I don't know, 20 years, right? Yeah. But when you are talking about traditional homes on a little streets or cul-de-sacs, you want to, I believe that it's way more powerful to have them traditionally staged. Again, when the buyers are coming in, buying a home is a very emotional and expensive situation, and having the opportunity to sit down on a sofa and just feel the space and imagine the holidays, birthdays, Thanksgiving, it's just people are buying future happiness. So I hope that I'm part of it.
Right. And so do you have anything else right now that you'd like to add or talk about or mention when it comes to Euro staging or just staging in general?
So do you see, when it comes to home staging, I think you and I are very fortunate that we are in the area which understands way more home staging than maybe Europe or some other parts of USA. We are, I would say, lucky that a lot of home buyers are watching HGTV, where home staging is really just right in front of their faces. And I've come to a lot of conversation with the realtors where they told me, I'm not gonna list vacant property. I can't do it, because I had so much of experience of people going like crazy over staged home, even though they understand they are not buying the furniture, but it had a huge impact on selling the home. So home staging is here, it's not going away, and it's just gonna get stronger and stronger. That's how I see it. And especially in an uncertain market we are experiencing, I think home staging is your best marketing.
Yeah, I think right now, the way the market is, I'm hoping that realtors are calling you, because they can't just put the sign on the grass and be like, it's for sale, and expect people to come in. Like, you really have to think outside the box. Well, based on what you said, something just came up in my head. Has there ever been a moment or time where you staged a home and the buyer not only fell in love with the home, but also the furniture and wanted to buy the furniture?
We have that about once or twice a month, and unfortunately I say no. I say no. I know it's not nice maybe, but it takes us quite a time to create curated sets. It's our signature, what we have. And that during the COVID, we had a hard time getting furniture, and it's still the inventory. It's sometimes difficult to get. Some orders get canceled. Furniture is like 40% more expensive now. So I'm kind of stingy with my stuff.
I don't blame you. Your stuff's beautiful. So
thank you.
Thank you so much, Hana. Thank you everyone for watching this tidbit. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, reach out to Hana at Eurostaging, and we'll have all of her information below. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Bye-bye.